This is from the cut down. Life under contract in America. I have a message to the Moors, each and every one of them, in reference to the noble Drew Ali, where he specifies in one of the articles that he put forth, where he asks us, he said, if you want to know about his principles in the redemption of his people, he said, go to them in their city halls and their positions where they propagate their law, and ask them in an intelligent tone. Ask them about the process that he has set forth to redeem his people. The melanated black man. The world movement for the melanated people that would enter into contractual obligations based upon the structure and the creation of the Uniform Commercial Code, which is governed by the creation of the dollar bill. It is very important that we understand this. Political views, political aspects, they have no place. They have no place in our form of government. Presidents and their elections, they have no place in our forms of government. But in order for us to understand that, we can waste our time. We can continue to waste our time with disunity amongst each other, with these separate ideologies. But I can tell you for a fact, and according to their rules, which I will lay out here on this channel, because it is imperative that we understand how we are to be monetized as a nation. There is only one way in. So I'm going to lay it out. And what keeps one such as myself from ever even entering into that fold that they have established currently is the reason that you are not following the process. Because there are departments that are adequately placed to put our nations and the commerce of our nations on the map and in a position for the Moors National to be able to feed his family and to be able to offer them the freedom of life and liberty, as long as we can bring them up in the correct fashion, as long as we can demonstrate to them their power and their government, and that they are only to be bounded or bound contraction upon the principles that we stand on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Surah 2, Ayat 282. He talks about the obligation upon the debtor that if one enters into a contract or enters into an agreement, let him write it down. And let him be studious in the writing of this contract. And let the one who is the debtor be the writer of the contract. And the one who is the creditor, who is issuing that creditor, allow the debtor to write that which he can do. We are in a situation and a condition. We are in a situation and a condition The situation is that we must have the ability to structure for ourselves that which they already operate in forms of commerce. Those of us who are acclimated towards the understanding of running of this government and how they function, dealing with the debt instrument. Well, the duty of the government, of our national government, is to monetize that obligation. There is only two ways that you're going to monetize that obligation. One is by acquisition, and one is by specific instructions. If you are not acclimated to understand these instructions, how will you ever be able to feed? How will you ever be able to allow those who come up with their own ideas and their own businesses to sign over those companies to the nation that they are entering into, and they can't eat off of them? There has to be an agreement between the government, the national government, and the constituents of that government, that they will be able to fill their seats, and they will be able to bring their companies over, and they will not have to relinquish hold of that which they own, which they created, of their own natural ability. How could you ever take away control from that which somebody created from their heart, based upon the capacity of them being able to dream, even if they can't recognize those dreams? So this is the message to the Moors community. It's not no challenge. And if anybody wish to challenge me, I don't accept it. All I'm telling you, all I'm asking is that we unify. Because if we go to those who are in power in their city halls and we ask them in an intelligent tone about the contract, they will tell us that everything that Noble Drew Ali spoke of is true. And we have the ability to redeem ourselves. We have the ability to redeem ourselves. So now we're talking about contractual law upon a nation. What is the obligation? How do we fulfill it? So we are going to be going through those charters. We're going to be going through the assembly of a nation. And I am going to show you in a definitive way about the contract. Because even here in this land that I stand on right now, that was given to me by my God, by Allah, there's a struggle going on right here, right now, that I had to endure some things just to be able to understand where I'm at today. So we're going to go through the contract. We're going to go through in succession, in the legal fashion, the instructions and what we are to do as a nation, a melanated nation, on the worldly aspect. You see, we shouldn't have to spend time with injunctions. We shouldn't have to spend time with arguments in their tribunals, in their agencies, because there is a union that binds us. They have established that union. They have laid forth the way that you can come in as a nation. We have coverage on a worldly level from the United Nations. with the Declaration of Human Rights. And they have spoke directly to us. They have told us that it is the duty of a man to remove himself from bondage, from servitude, from that which will deny him of freedom, of life and liberty, and to express himself in his natural essence of who he is. So as nationalists, as Moorish Americans, or Moorish nationalists, or world Moors, we should be able to maneuver in the capacity of understanding without a glitch, without argumentation from one another, without trying to debase one another. We should be unified in this effort. So understand that these agencies, their tribunals, that's not where our fight is at. Because they can be silenced with a contract. But how do you put forth that contract? Subscribe to this YouTube channel, The Cut Down, and we're going to walk through it. I'm going to start in the land where I'm at. And I'm going to bring forth the rules, step by step. So whenever there's a seat to be filled, it will have a, how can I say it? It will be funded. If you have a duty that you can help in the process of this, you will be compensated. If you are a lawyer, a doctor, a judge, and you can see this, the things that you dream about, the things that you have worked for, the things that you have worked for and worked towards, that have got you in the position that you are in right now, you will be able to bring it forth in an expression that benefits your natural ability. You will be able to fulfill it in the highest way in order to feed your nation. We're going to get in depth. I invite brothers to grow, not to challenge. Your rhetoric, you can have it. Your disputation, you can have it. If you are not moving forward, if you are not understanding the rules, then you can stay in the tribunals of your captors, and you will find that you are going to be desolate because you don't know how to follow the instructions of Noble Drew Ali. Go to them and ask them in an intelligent tone. An intelligent tone does not mean dispute, does not mean combatant. In an intelligent tone, that means with full, complete understanding of what you are saying. And then you follow through with it. Follow us on The Cut Down. Islam.